Hi, I'm Todd Condelario. I'm the Preference Act consultant for the Wyoming Department of Workforce Services. I'm here today to talk to you about Wyoming's Preference Act. The Department of Workforce Services is committed in helping contractors working in Wyoming with meeting the requirements of this act. We have prepared this short video that outlines the high points of Wyoming's Worker Preference Act. The goal of the Wyoming Preference Act is to give Wyoming contractors and Wyoming workers a leg up on public works projects. Public works projects are activities such as building schools, highways, dams, and other infrastructure that is funded by Wyoming taxpayer dollars. We've all heard of keeping Wyoming dollars within our state, right? Well, that's the idea behind Wyoming's Preference Act. Wyoming's Preference Act states that contractors who are working on Wyoming's public works projects must hire Wyoming labor. If the contractor cannot find qualified Wyoming workers to do the job, he can hire out-of-state workers only if that contractor informs the nearest state workforce center to the project of his labor needs at least 11 days before work is commenced, and the state workforce center certifies the contractor's need for laborers cannot be filled from those Wyoming laborers listed with the Wyoming Department of Workforce Services. The department shall respond to a contractor's request for certification within 10 days of the date the information was filed. So you might be asking yourself, what is a laborer? Well, let's look at the statute. Wyoming statutes define a laborer as someone who is employed to perform skilled or unskilled manual labor in any capacity. We tend to use the words laborer or worker interchangeably. Laborers do not include independent contractors. This means laborers are the people who are actually doing the physical work. As the statute outlines, a laborer is not an independent contractor, a project manager, a supervisor, a designer, or an owner. Examples of independent contractors could be a plumbing company that you hire to do plumbing work, or an air conditioning company that you hire to put AC in a building. For more information on what an independent contractor is, or other definitions, make sure you contact our local workforce center or me for details. The Wyoming Preference Act also details that a laborer must be from Wyoming. Again, it's the whole idea of keeping Wyoming dollars within our state. And a lot of questions can come up as to what it means to be from Wyoming. Wyoming statutes state a Wyoming resident is someone who is a citizen of the United States, has lived in Wyoming for at least 1 year prior to employment, and after July 1st, 2014, someone who is here legally on a work visa and has lived in Wyoming for at least 1 year prior to employment. When a contractor cannot find qualified Wyoming workers, the local workforce center will issue a certification letter. Basically, the certification states that the workforce center tried to match local workers with the labor needs of the contractor and that the current labor pool could not meet those contractors' labor needs. As you see here on this certification letter, the letter is good only for the specific project, the specific contractor, the specific number and title of laborers that the contractor needs. So remember, this letter will not cover multiple projects. Once certification is issued for a project, it is valid for the length of the project. However, if during this time a previously filled position opens up, the contractor must attempt to hire resident labor before filling the position with non-resident labor. A couple of things that contractors need to remember here is that in order to run your ads, you need to be registered with Wyoming's Workmen's Compensation and Unemployment Insurance. Just registering with the Workforce Service Center isn't sufficient enough. The contractor actually has to receive the certification before he can hire out-of-state labor. A certification is needed for each individual project. Even though a contractor might be working on multiple projects with similar labor needs, one certification will not act as a blanket for all the projects that the contractor is working with. The certification is valid for the length of the project unless a job opening comes available during the course of the project or if there's a need for additional labor. Then the contractor must try to fill those positions with Wyoming workers. But what about subcontractors? As contractors, you hire lots of subcontractors to complete various parts of the project. The Wyoming Preference Act applies to them too. When you enter into contracts with your subcontractors, you must include language in that contract that states that they will abide by the requirements of the Wyoming Preference Act. It is the contractor's responsibility to make sure the Wyoming workers they hire are truly Wyoming residents. To accomplish this, the contractor can ask the worker to produce the following: a valid government ID, such as a driver's license, a past utility bill, a past or current hunting or fishing license, a mortgage or residential lease, pay stubs that show a valid residential address, and any other documents that would prove his residency. So how much time do you have before you have to run your ads? The Wyoming Preference Act details that you need to contact the local workforce center at least 11 calendar days before you're scheduled to start work. However, the workforce center has 10 days to respond back to you. And remember, you cannot hire non-resident labor until you hear back from the workforce center. So really, a reasonable time frame is considered to be about 21 to 30 calendar days before you're scheduled to start work on the project. Investigations do occur, and complaints happen for many reasons. If you are the subject of a complaint or an investigation and are found in non-compliance with Wyoming's Preference Act, it could cost you. In fact, you can be fined up to $1,000 per day per the number of employees that were in violation, up to 10% of your contract. So let's do the math. For 10 workers in violation who have worked for 10 days, 10 workers times 10 days equals $100,000. If a Wyoming contractor is found in non-compliance with the Wyoming Preference Act a second time, he could be barred from bidding on public works projects for 1 year. What if you suspect someone isn't hiring Wyoming workers? You can let us know, and we will investigate it. You can call us, email us, or we have a form on our website that you can use to let us know. What if a complaint is made against you? Please know that it is our job to investigate this complaint, but there are things that you can do to make the investigation turn out in your favor. Be ready to show items such as a copy of your contract with the public agency, a copy of your contract with the general contractor, the date you began work, the full names, titles, and home addresses of every worker that's on your project, the exact days each person worked, and payroll reports. The Wyoming Preference Act aims to keep public monies in Wyoming by ensuring local residents receive tax dollars back through employment on public works projects. The Wyoming Department of Workforce Services is here to help you accomplish this task. If you have questions about Wyoming's Preference Act, please give us a call at 307-235-3227 or visit our website at wyomingworkforce.org. I would like to thank you for taking the time to view this video, and I wish you a safe and productive work week.